Yeah. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
All
We
right. So
can
we'll
see the
come to
screen.
this. Okay. So we'll come to this, but I just wanted to quickly revise what we did right in the last session. So the first thing, I'm going to go a little fast. The first thing which we looked at was the print statement, right? So we did print hello world, right? That was the first thing we did. We looked at how to use single quotes, yes, and how to use double quotes, how to use both of them together also. This is what we looked at. That is something we did. Then we got into variables where we assigned a variable. So a is equal to 10 and we check the type of that particular variable. Same way we assigned b, the type. I'm not able to guess the name of this. Okay. Is that Revti you or who's that? Who sent the image? Okay, we'll come back to that. Then we looked at a string. Right, we looked at the string. We looked at booleans also. So we looked at there's some background noise. So can you go on mute if you're not speaking? Right, sorry, thank you. So we looked at assigning boolean variables, right? We looked at this. Then we also looked at complex variables. So if I look at d is equal to 8 plus 9j, right? So we looked at complex variables. Okay. After this, we looked at addition. So if I do a plus b, I already have the value, right? I get this value. Then we looked at a into b. You can do a minus b, a divided by c. There should not be any space. B, sorry, c. Yeah. All right. We looked at a star b. Okay, this is exponential. So we looked at these elements. What else did we look at? Yeah, we looked at these operators, relational operators. So sec a is greater than b, it is false. A is less than b, which is for true. Okay, a equal to b. So we should be using equal to if you want to compare. It should not be, if you just use the single equal to, it's going to assign that value. All right. Then we use a greater than equal to b, a less than equal to b. Okay, and a not equal to b. These were the relational operators we looked at. Then we looked at logical operators. So I still have I is equal to, so if I just print I, right, it is true, j is false. So we looked at logical operators a and, so I and j. So that output is false because true and false is false. So I or j. So true or false is true, right? Then we looked at not. So not of I. That is false. So it's going to give you the opposite of whatever that value is. Okay. We also looked at
sharing screen because I cannot see it.
Can anybody, everybody else see my screen or no? Hello? Can others see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So Reti, you might have to log off and log in.
Okay, sir.
Then you will be visible. I'm going to wait for a minute. So yesterday, right, we also looked at yesterday, last time, right, yesterday we didn't see this, but A and B. So this is a bitwise operator. It gives the same output, it's just at a bit level, whether I and B. This is and, this ampersand sign is and, I or J is or. Okay. We had looked at that last Sunday, not this week. We looked at how to take an input from a user. So if I take in is equal to input where your name, hello, in. Okay, I cannot use in. So we looked at how to use input, how to take an input from the user. Alright. Then we were working with strings. So there was a string, right? Which we assigned. So if I have this string, I want to find out the length of the string. I can use the length function, which tells me it is 5 characters. If I want to find out the last value of that string, the last character, I use the -1 sign, so it is counting from here. So if I use -2, it's going to be counting from second from here. Okay. If I want to print specific characters, so if I do this 1 2 3, I get this ELN. So it starts from 0, right? 0 1 2 3. The third character, what number is not used, so it is going to be 1 and 2. The first character E and L, that's why it's showing only this much. Okay, so this is, and then we also looked at C dot upper, that is those functions, C dot lower, C dot title. We looked at these. So does this give you an idea? We kind of covered these elements last time in the last session. That makes sense? And we also looked at print. So if I wanted to print their value, right? If I want to print hello 3 times, so we'll do it this way. If I want to print hello 10 times, print it. So we looked at how to use the repetition, and this repetition can also be done in this way. Printing it in this way. I'm printing 2 values in this way. So clear till now? All right. So we'll come back to this. So this was the rate given for a given string. Check the following aspects. You wanted to check this, right? You want to find. So let's say I take a string, right? I take a string. I take this string. I want to check if the string is alphanumeric, meaning does the string have numbers and alphabets as well. Okay, and let's take another string is equal to. Okay, so what I'm going to do for the first one, that is the function, right, is alnum. If I do it this way, it's going to tell me yes, it is true, because this string has alphabets as well as numbers. So if I do the same thing for string B, right, what do you think I should get? False or true? Yeah,
False.
very good. So Reti, you are able to join back again. You're able to see the screen. Was she able to join back? She's not been able to join back. Can you message her if she's able to join back or no? You're going to check this is lower. So in this case, right, I'm checking whether the string is lowercase or not. So I have string B dot is lower. So if I do this, right, I should be getting true, because all these characters are lowercase. If I do it for string B, right, so yes, string A. So I'll get false because they are not all lowercase. Make sense? Understood this, right? All right. Now let's try this. Split the string based on a specific character. So let's say I have A is equal to 10, 20, 30, 40 or whatever. Yeah, and I want to do A dot split. And how is it? If I do this, I am getting an output like this. I am getting an output which is giving me splitting the values by comma. So this is like in Excel you have text to columns, right? This is something similar to that. You're just splitting the value by a specific character. Understood? Okay, just give me a second. Then count the number of times a value occurs in a string. So if we have, right, the string which we had this hello 123. So if I want to count how many times L has come, let's say, let's try that. String A dot count. So it is there twice. So if I type H once, got it? I am counting the characters, a character which is going to be there multiple times. So a lot of times, I mean, these are string functions are probably used a lot in programming when you want to analyze the data. Make sense? So you understood all these four? Okay. Let's look at what we're going to do today. Okay, so we did the revision. We're going to look at data structures in Python. Okay, when you're looking at data structures, right, there are a lot of data structures. So we looked at variables. When you look at variables, right, so you have a string, you have a what do you say, integer, a float. But when you're looking at data structures, right, you can relate it to something like Excel. In Excel, all the columns which are there, right, I mean, you have a row, each of them has specific amount, specific data. It's not that every data is an integer, every data is a text character, right? It's not that way. You have multiple columns where each of them has a different value. That is where you have these data structures. Okay, you can have a combination of different types of data structures. So the first data structure is there, right, is called as a tuple. It is an ordered collection of elements enclosed within this bracket, this open close bracket. And the thing about a tuple is that once you create it, you cannot change or update or edit the data. And you can store multiple types of data in this tuple. Okay, so let's say if I have, so how do I define a tuple? So I write tup1 is equal to, and I'm going to give open close bracket. I'm going to 1, 2, 3. I want a text. I want a float variable. I want a Boolean variable. And I run this. And if I check the type, right, the tuple, because it has open and between open and closed brackets. So can you try this? And those who joined today, Vivek joined today, right? Vivek,
Yes, sir.
you have this Jupyter installed on your machine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you guys try this tuple?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, Vaishnavi here. Sir, I'm getting error.
Can you show what error you're
Yeah,
getting?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I even got error for the previous one.
Yeah, just show me, what you've done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, you have to write TUP, no? Type TUP. You put TUP1. Your variable name is TUP.
Okay. Yes, sir. And
What
sir,
you have
even
defined
got
up, no, is TUP. Yeah, go up. So string A. Did you run the first line? String
yes,
A,
sir.
can you run?
This one?
Yeah, can you run it again? Now run the third line. I mean, yeah, this one, run it.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
right. my screen. Everybody understood what is a tuple? Everybody got this right? Yes. Okay. So now, right, if you look at the definition, let's look at the definition of this tuple.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Sir, why you have written the hello in this double inverted commas?
I can write it in single also.
So it doesn't matter. No, but like why in commas?
So meaning, why is there a comma in this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This comma, right? You're saying this comma. So these
No,
are
no,
all
no.
single quotes you're saying?
Yes, a single quotes.
It will still work with single quotes also. So that is what we saw right earlier. I can have data in double quotes. I can have data in single quotes also. So Python is still able to recognize those. Does that answer your question or no?
No, sir. Like what I meant to ask is like if we are writing 1, 2, 3, we are not using single quotes, but or like on this string hello we are.
Because hello is a string. These are
Yes.
all numbers.
It's
So
in
I
the
have
same. Yes.
so no. So in like Excel, right? When I look at it in Excel, so let's see this. When I'm writing a number over here, it takes it as a number. When I'm writing like this, when I write hello, if you notice, right? And if I write 3.0, so you're asking why can't I write hello just like this? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, sir.
So if I write hello just like this, right? Since it is a string, any string variable has to be there in quotes. If I just write this variable like this, right? It is going to expect that hello is a variable. It's going to tell me hello is not defined because this is not a text. Make sense? If it is
Yes, sir.
text, right, it has to be in double quotes or single quotes. If it is not, right, and if I write something like this, it is going to expect that this is a variable, but this is not a variable. So if I assign hello is equal to 25, right, 234, and now if I run this, it will not give me an error because it took this 234 as hello. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to show that this tuple can have numbers, it can have a text variable, it can have a float variable, it can have true. Question is what? So normally, right, when you read an external file, you most of the time work with something called as a data frame. But we'll look at that when we come to that. So we saw this. Does that answer your question, Bharat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to go back to this. True is I am adding also a Boolean variable. I can write anything at the end. So the combination which I'm showing, right, I can even have a complex variable 3 plus 7j. I have all this. I have all different kinds of variables. So just like I said, right, think of it like an Excel file where each column denotes something else. So here each value denotes a different kind of data structure. Make sense? Okay. So we have seen this. Now let's say I want to find out what is the value of each of these cells, right? Let's say I want to, so if I have TUP1, right? If I run this, I get this list. Yes, tuple is a combination of different types of variables. So whatever we see now, right, is going to be a combination of whatever variables we saw. From now, you will have all those combinations coming up. So in tuple, right, if I have this one, I want to, I just say this, let's say I say 0, right? So I'm getting the first value. I want to see the first value in this tuple, which is 0 or rather one value. If I want to check tup1 and I do 1 is to 0 is to 4, so I'm getting the first 4 values 0 1 2 3. Same like we saw in strings, right? You can use these to find out what is the value. So let's say try tup1 and let's say try -1, so I get the last value in this tuple. Make sense? So can you try this?
Sir, Mithil here.
Yeah, Mithun.
Sir, when I did, yeah, so when I did tube 1 minus 2 comma minus 3, the output was not.
What did you do? Can you show me? You're sharing a screen?
Yes, sir. It is coming now. Yes, please.
No, I don't see it actually.
It's coming now.
Nope. Can you guys see screen? Yeah, now it is. Yeah. What did you do?
So, sir, in input 8, as you can see, tube 1 minus 2 minus 3. So the output is from this
माइनस
bracket.
-3 क्यों लिखा है? सिर्फ -2 लिखा तो क्या आता है? -2
माइनस 2
माइनस,
लिखा तो 30.34
नहीं, ये कल भी तुमने वही ऐसा ही क्वेश्चन पूछा था ना? -3 के बदले तुम वो उधर 1 डालो, क्या आता है? या 2 डालो कुछ तो। रुको 1 मिनट। तो उसमें वैसा होता है ना, कल भी हमने वही देखा था। तो आप उधर -4 -1 डालो, क्या होता है देखो। -4 -1, so it is -1 is indicating that it is going to leave the last value. जो आपने प्रिंट किया है ना वो उसमें से लास्ट वैल्यू इट लीव दैट लास्ट वैल्यू फॉर इट। अब सिर्फ -4 प्रिंट कर डालो तो क्या आता है देखो।
Yeah, it's coming 3.
तो अभी -1 डालोगे ना तो मतलब जो लास्ट जो ट्यूब में है ना ट्रू वैल्यू नहीं है तो उसको छोड़ के दूसरा सब दिखाएगा फ्रॉम -4 टिल दैट।
Oh,
हाँ मोस्टली लोग पॉजिटिव नंबर यूज करेंगे, नेगेटिव इतना यूज नहीं करेंगे अनलेस यू वांट टू चेक द if it's a very large variable and from the left hand side or the right hand side you want to get a particular variable. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody got this? Everybody got how to use a tuple? Anybody facing any issue?
Sir, I'm getting an error where I typed the type of the variable that I've got.
Can you show me? There's some bad connection on your side. A lot of static.
Hello?
Yeah, I can see your. Did you run the tuple? Did you run
Yes,
that
sir.
one? आपने 1 लिखा है L लिखा है? वो रन करो TUP1 पहले रन करो। ये रन करो वापस। टाइप और इसके स्पेस नहीं चाहिए। रिमूव द स्पेस इन टाइप एंड दिस। हाँ नाउ रन।
Sir, still. Sorry, sir.
Take it. Go on mute. There's a lot of static. Anybody else facing this issue? Try another variable. Try defining another variable. Like that. And can you go on mute? Will you try that? There's a lot of disturbance. I don't know why you're getting this. Is anybody else getting this error? I'll have to check why you're getting this error.
Sir, should I not put space in between the commas or something like that?
No, nothing like that. Tuple is created, no?
Yeah.
There is no.
So
Yeah.
because of the brackets, she has put in the complex variable. I just ran it without the brackets and it says type tuple.
Okay. No, because I also put a bracket. I did not get that error.
I ran it without the brackets and it did show me error.
Okay. So try that.
Which bracket?
Remove the complex variable and try.
Yeah, but in the previous, in the first one, there was no complex variable. Still, it was not showing.
Can you message what you printed, right? Just put that in the chat. Let me try that here. Whatever you've written, right? The variable which you defined, right? Just message that in the chat. I'm getting tuple over here for that same thing. There's something wrong in the setting over there. Can you do one thing? Can you open share your screen and open a new Jupyter page, no, plus a new, what do you call it, file. New notebook, right? File, new notebook, Python. Can you open that and paste it over there and check? Yeah, fine. It's running. There's something wrong in that notebook. Okay, you probably have to, yeah. Working, right? All right. So I'm going to share my screen again. So we saw the tuple, we saw how you can extract a specific data element from this tuple, right? So now let's try one more thing, right? Let's try. So if you see the definition, right? Once created, the value of the elements cannot be changed or updated or edited. So let's try and edit that. So let's try tup1 and I put 1 is equal to 10. So I'm trying to change the value of one particular field. Yeah. So it says, it gives me an error. Tuple object does not support item assignment. So once I have put data in this, right, I cannot change this. This is like a constant. It's not going to change. So can you try this?
So can you repeat that?
Sorry, I can't make out what you're saying.
So can you repeat that?
Yeah. So we look at the definition, right? When you look at the definition of a tuple, it says once you created the value of elements that cannot be changed or updated or edited. You cannot change the updated value, or you cannot change or update the value, which is why what I try to do is I try to assign a value to this. So if I run just this, right, I am getting the value of 2. So this is the value of 2. I want to change this value of 2 to 20, let's say. I cannot do that because once I have created the tuple, right, I cannot do anything to it. I cannot change any value which is there in the tuple. Got it? Okay. So when we load an external file, right, an external file is not going to be in this structure. This is just one line. An external file will be an array. So what you will have, right, it's going to be rows and columns. When you look at this, it's going to be rows and columns. It's not going to be just one row. So this tuple has just one row in this. When I use an external file, right, I will have something called as a data frame. And each of those data frames, when we come to that, you'll understand that better. So we'll understand how we'll come to when you understand, read the external file, right? Then we'll know how the data is stored. Make sense? I can actually show you one. Where is this? One minute. Huh? So when I read this, right, when I read this file, it shows like this, and we'll come to this point. It is not one row. It is like an array. That is why it will not be a tuple. It will be a data frame like that. Make sense? Do you get that or no? If I just run this, right, like I take this and run this over here. This is a data frame. Got it? When I read the file, it will not be a tuple, it will be a data frame. In this data frame, you can have tuples and lists and everything. So we'll come to that when we get there. Does that answer your question? Hello? Alright, thank you. So coming back, so we looked at what is a tuple. We tried to extract a specific value in the tuple. So now let's look at something called as a list, right? So list is an ordered collection of elements enclosed within a square bracket. So here we saw, right? You saw it is a uh, whatever the other bracket. I don't remember what to call it. Sorry, right? And here, right, once created, the value of the elements can be changed, updated, or edited, and you can store multiple types of data in this. So let's try and create a list. So list one. So here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to copy the same data which is there over here. Instead of the circular bracket, I am going to use this bracket, square bracket. And I'm going to type list one. So I'm seeing it is a list. The only difference between that and this is I have this square bracket. String is a variable which has all characters. A list can be a group of strings. So I can have list string collection of strings, let's say, right? Apple. Then so this is a string, right? This is a list. If I check the type, right? This is a list. Now let's say if I check, but these values which are there, right? So if I check this, this is a string. This list is a collection of different strings. Make sense? This first character, right, is a string. This apple is a string. It is one variable. This list is a collection of strings. So it's like you have a group of students, right? Right. Based on that, one student is in a different. One second. There's a message from Suraj. He's not able to join. So what? So coming back, so let me first answer this question. So like I said, right, we have a group of students. Each student has their own characteristics. Okay, that is what this apple has its own characteristics. That is why apple is a string over here. But this is a list. That entire data collection is a list. Does that help? Okay. Was Suraj able to join back again or no?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So did you try this? Can you try this?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So for the type thing, why did we use round bracket? Like, why can't we use square bracket? Like, because we tried it
So type is a function, right? It's a all the functions which you see, right, have a curly bracket. You see print this have this round bracket. If you see type, these are all functions. It's like in Excel, right? You have sum if, you have sum, you have all the different types of functions, right? All these functions have these round brackets. When you are trying to use the square bracket, right, at the end, most of the times you are trying to extract a specific data element. Okay, so here, right, if I am going to type list string and 0, it is going to search for a value in this string. If I'm going to use list string and this round bracket, it is going to expect a function. Okay, it is going to search for a function which is called as list string, but this is not a function. Yeah, so this is saying it's not callable. Why? Because it is not a function in the sense. And we'll know what is a function when we talk about it a little bit more in detail later. So whenever you want to
Sir, could
call
you
all
please
of this,
explain the?
yeah. So when I say, right, you have this function. If I type this, right, I get a list of functions. These are all functions. Okay. This top ones, these are all functions. This print is a function. Okay. Which is why I
Sir,
use this round bracket. Okay. Type is a function. It is expecting a function. But if I use a variable, right, here list one is a variable. And if I now use a round bracket, what it's going to expect is it's going to expect that list one is a function, not a variable. And it gives me an error that list is not callable. So this list one is a list, right? It's a collection of data. That is what it is. It is not a callable function. Make sense or no?
So,
Yes.
so in the type list string, if I don't put the square bracket and 0, then it says that it is a list.
Now can you show me? Yeah, because this one, na, for this, right, type
Yeah,
of this. Yeah, you
yeah.
don't. Yeah. So here, right, I am, see, if I put it this way, right, it is going to tell me this is a list. This entire collection is a list. What I was trying to explain, right, this list has a collection of strings. Okay, so let's say if I take this, I take this list one. Okay, I take this list one and I check type of list one. So what do I get? It is a list. Now I want to check what is the value of this one, right? List one is 0. This is 1. This value is 1. I want to check the type of this field, if I can say, right? It is an integer. So like in Excel, right? This is a number. This is a number. This is a string. This is a float variable, decimal variable. That is what it's trying to check. Overall, this is my Excel sheet, right? It has a collection of these integers and string and float variable, right? Got it? Very good. So now in the same way, right, for a list, I can again extract a particular location. List one. If I do 3, right, I can extract that variable. So like in tuple also, right, we were finding out the value. Did you get this? Can you try this? Or you already tried it? Everybody got that? All right. So let's try and add a value to this list. Okay, so list one dot append is the function, and I'll type 35, 34, whatever it is, and I see list one. What is the question? In string we can put numbers also. So why is in list a number is an int? Okay, can you explain that? In string we can put numbers also, meaning string is a variable name, it is not a string. I mean this, if I run this, it will give if I run this, right? Let's say if I run this, string is just the name of the variable. This is just the variable name. It is not a, it does not mean that it has a string in it. The string has to be in quotes. Got it? So did you try that append? List one dot append.
Yes, I tried it, but can you explain it once again?
So append, right? Append is going to, so in tuple, right? We saw we're not able to add or change any value, right? So in appending, what I'm doing, I'm adding a new value in this. So let me just show you what we had done. Let me just try this first. List one. So it adds a new value in the end. So here, right, that list had 1, 2, 3, hello, true, whatever till 34, right? Now I add append, list one dot append. I'm adding a value in the end to this list. So in, it's like in the end over here, right? I want to add a new value. Right? That is what I did. In an Excel sheet, I added a new column, and basically in this row, I added a new value. In the end, that is what this append does. In the end, it's going to add a new value.
Okay, sir.
So suppose if I want to add a particular value on fifth position, how will we do that?
On fifth position. On fifth position, you'll have to check. Give me a second. So there is a function called insert Okay. Let's try that. List one dot insert. And let's try. Okay, what it does. Okay, dot insert.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Got it? So the first character denotes where that string has to, where that value has to be entered, and then whatever you want to enter, insert. Okay. So let's try list one dot pop. So there was another function, list one dot pop. What it does, this will automatically remove the last value which we added. So it removed this HE which is there. So if I look at it, list one dot, there might be a lot of other things also. So again, if I run this, it is removing 34 from here in the end. So if I want to remove a specific value, I do list one नहीं होता है क्या? 8 minute. Oh yeah, sorry, list one होना चाहिए. Yep. So it removed the first value. If I'm putting this value, so now if I take this list one, so I have these. Let's say if I do list one dot pop and I do 0 1 2, so it removed the value hello. Understood? If I don't give anything, it's going to remove the last value. If I give a index over here 0, so it's going to remove the first value. So here I gave 2 0 1 2, it removed the second value. Understood?
Sir, can we mention the range, like from this number to this number we have to remove, like we don't want?
Moving a range. Okay.
So like the whole round bracket 3 plus 7j, the whole thing.
Understood. Understood what you're saying. I'm thinking we might have to use a loop, but I don't know if there is a direct way of doing that. I'll have to check that. Because I don't know if I type 2 comma 3 will it work? No. At most one argument. So I cannot give two arguments over here. So it takes only one at a time. There
Okay,
might
sir.
be another way of doing that. I will check that and let you know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's try this. So we work with a list, we work with a tuple. Okay. Let's try and use both together. Create a list. Okay. Let's create a list. 3. And let's create a tuple. Right, so I'll check the type of list. Type of a tuple. I want to add this tuple at the end. Okay, list 0. I'm going to add that dot append, and I'm going to write tup 0. So I have appended the tuple into the list. So now I'll check the type. So this is still a list, but let's say if I check the type of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I check the type for this 4, it's a tuple. Got it? Can you try this? We created two values. We created a list and a tuple. So a list can also have a tuple, and the other way around also. A tuple can also have a list. Okay. So here, when I look at this, in this value, I want to extract a specific element, right? So what do? I use this square bracket and I do this. Okay. 0, sorry. Right? List 0 has this value of 1. Now let's say if I type list 0 and 4, and I do this, right? I am getting this tuple. Now in this tuple, I want to extract this first element. So what do I have to do? I have to use another square bracket after this. So here, right? Now in this fourth value, fourth data element which is there in this list, right? It is a tuple. So what I need to do is I need to put another square bracket at the end and type 0. So now I am getting this value of this particular tuple. And if I change this, get the other elements. Did you understood what I did?
So I'm not getting this append dot,
Can you show
sorry,
me?
list 0. Yeah. I'm trying to share, but it's not opening.
Yeah, I can see your screen. You have given both of the tuple is not a tuple. The tuple has a square bracket what you defined. It should be a round bracket. No?
Okay, got it.
Sir, can I share my screen? I guess I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
getting it.
yeah, sure. You have not assigned an equal to after TOP0
Okay.
or not plus equal to. There is no comma after 4 in both of them.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else who's getting an issue?
Sir, can you please share your screen?
Yeah.
Sir, in the input 134, what you did, can you please explain?
In what?
Input 134.
134.
Yeah, so how did the output came 4?
Right. So you're right. So can you show what you have created? You created this, right? You created this list and a tuple, right?
Yes, sir, I have created that.
Yeah, just show me that.
So is it visible?
Not yet.
So now,
Hope no.
yes. So I have done
Hmm.
So the
So
last
just
one,
gives
the last
not
one which
zero.
I was asking you that I
Yeah.
didn't understand. That 4 and 2.
So you're right. Just do 0, 1, 2, 3. List 0 and 5. Just print that list 0 and 5. What do you get? Or rather 4. List 0 and 4. What is the value 4? Yeah. So this 4 value is a tuple. Okay. Now in this, right, I want to get the first value of this tuple. So which is why after 4, right, I need to use another square bracket and the index for that tuple will start. So if I write list 0, 4 and then again in another square bracket 0, right, you will get the value 1. Understood? So now you are indexing the tuple in this.
Okay, so basically this 04 when I wrote, it took all the values.
Hmm. List 4 is getting the tuple.
Yes,
Get
so the whole tuple then came 1, 2,
yes.
4, hello, pura.
Yes.
And
Now in
then
this
when
tuple,
I
I want to extract a particular location.
so
What?
sir, in the similar manner, if I write here we are using list 04. If we write type tube 04 then
ट्यूब 04 क्यों आएगा? ट्यूपल का वैल्यू आएगा, वो तो वैसे भी आपने डिफाइन किया है, ट्यूपल जो आएगा उसका आएगा, बट दिस इज अ ट्यूपल विद इन द लिस्ट. वो अलग वेरिएबल है, ये अलग वेरिएबल है.
yeah, because your tube 0 in input I defined tube 0.
वो वेरिएबल अलग है, लिस्ट के अंदर आ गया अभी वो, तो मुझे वो अलग बाहर वाला नहीं चाहिए, मुझे वो ट्यूब जो लिस्ट के अंदर है ना वो एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है. आई वांट टू एक्सट्रैक्ट द डेटा विच इज देयर इन द लिस्ट. अंडरस्टूड?
Okay, so in the input 55, what I have written that we are expecting. 55.
59 50 55 में आपको स्टार्टिंग का 4 वैल्यू आ रहा है, यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द ट्यूपल इन दैट.
Hmm.
Right, I want to, from the list I want to extract a particular value. समझा? So I wanted to explain the concept of the double square bracket. Understood?
Yes.
So now, right, I can even have a, so anybody else has any other question, doubts? Everybody was able to understood what we did? Okay. So now, right, I can even have a tuple which has a list. Okay. Is somebody speaking in the background? So right over here, right, if I type tup 1 is equal to 1, 2, whatever, and list 0, I can create a tuple like this also. Okay, and again I can, in the same way I can now, so this list, right, this tuple has a list as well as another tuple. So if I want to get the data of this tuple, if I do 0 1 2, I am getting this list. In this list, if I want to get the first value, I will type like, or 0. So now I am getting the first value of this.
Uncle, file account zero.
And you go on mute.
Actually હું આવ્યો તો પછી આમ જ હતું. નહીં નહીં નહીં.
Gujarati Bhav. Gujarati Bhav, can you go on mute, please? Thank you. So, right. So we saw we created a tuple which has the list which we created, right? Now this list also has another tuple in this. Okay, so now when I look at tuple and the second value, right, I get this list which we created earlier. Now in this, I want to extract the first value. So I used a second bracket, right? Now if I take this, right, and if I change the 0 to 0 1 2 3 4, so what I'm going to get is a tuple which is there in that list. And again, if I want to get the second value of this, right, I am going to type like this. So I added another square bracket. So I just wanted to explain that how these square brackets are used. Did you get what I did, or was it a little complicated?
So
Yes.
in 138, when you're running tube 1, 2, why are you getting the output as the entire thing?
I am not getting the entire thing. See this list, right? Let's look at this. What is this list? Let's first look at this list. This list has these values and it has a tuple. Okay, so let's write that down. My list 0 has values and it has a 1 2 4 hello, and it has a tuple. So this tuple has, okay, this is what the list has. Make sense till now? I'm going to color this differently. Now what I did was I created a tuple. I created another tuple which has the values of 1 3 and this list 0. So I created a tuple which has 1 3 and list 0. Okay, clear till now?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this list has, so when I expand this tuple, right, when I expand this tuple, what I'm going to get is this list 0 is this values. Okay, so what I have is, in this tuple I have this 0 1 and this entire value is my 2, the second variable that I get. Okay, the index of this variable. So this is what I have. I have list, if I have tube 1, right, so if I type tube 1 0, yeah, makes sense. I have these values 1 2 and 3. So this is what I have, 1 2, and the third value is this entire index. Make sense? Clear till now? Yes or no? Okay. Now in this, right, in this particular list, when I look at this side, I have 1 2 3, or let's say I put it over here, right? First, let's put tube 0 over here also. So my tube 0 is what? 1, 2, 4, hello. Okay, 1, 2, 4, hello. This is my tuple. Okay. So this index is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this index is 1, 2, rather, whatever. Sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. When I look at this, right, for this is my index. Got stuck. This is my index. And for this tuple, right, which has these values, I have this index. So my first index is this. So if I am extracting for this particular tuple, right, which is the second index, then I have the second index, and then I have a third index over here. It is a complex variable in a sense. So I have this first index. I want to extract this hello. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this value, this 2, then this, and this. So if I type, right, 2, 4, 3. So let's type this list. What is it? Tube 1, right? TUP1, 2, 4, and 3. Understood what we have done? Or should I kind of repeat it? All right. So like this, right, you can have multiple layers of data which can be there, right? It depends on how complex your data is. But I just wanted to give you an idea. You can have a tuple with a list with another tuple. So you can have these multiple combinations. So now let's look at something called as a dictionary. So a dictionary, right, is an unordered collection of keys and value pairs enclosed within this, and it can be modified or changed or updated. Okay, so when I have this curly brackets now. So I type dictionary1 is equal to, in curly brackets, I type apple, I put a colon and 1, whatever 10. Let's say this is the price of the apple, 100 rupees per kg. Then I put a comma, then I put pear, colon, that is 255. Then I put another fruit, a colon, and I put 87 or 89, whatever that comes, and I put pomegranate. So I have created a dictionary like this. Understood what you've done? I have used curly brackets and I have created this data which has the price and everything of each fruit. So if I print this, right, so you notice that data is getting sorted automatically. apple, pear, papaya, pomegranate, it got sorted. Whatever way I created it, it automatically got sorted based on these names. Yes, dictionary are always in curly brackets. There's one more item which you're going to talk about, which is also in curly bracket, but the definition is not in this way. So we will see that. So it's like defining a. We'll see how can we can actually use this, right? If I type dictionary.keys, right, it's basically telling me, right, that I have all these elements which are there with me. So it's like I can create a list of students and their marks. That is what I'm using. I'm creating a dictionary of that. Or I can create your list of students and their age, their gender, all that information I can put in this dictionary. It's like a what do you say, uh, reference point for you.
Sir, can you please repeat the keys one, what you did the function?
Yeah. Here, right? So like in list, right? We were using the square brackets. Here I have to use this key. Okay. So if I use this dict1 dot key, I'm getting a list of all the keys. This apple is the key. This number is the value for that particular key. So here I can put your name and I can put your marks over here. I can put somebody else's name and the marks over here. This is what the dictionary is indicating.
So
This
sir,
is the key and this is the value for that key.
in keys, only alphabetical values will come, or also numeric values can in
Numeric
keys.
should be able to come. Let's try that. Understood? So 1, 2, 3, right? So I have these. 1 means 20, 2 means 30, 3 means 49. There was another question. Yes. They were sorted by the name. So if I add, right? If I make this, let's try this. 3, 2, 6. What did you. Can you show me what you did?
So for values, it is showing errors.
Yeah, can you show me?
Yes, sir.
You're not assigned any value only, no? Where is the value? Is there? Oh, no, it is there.
Sir, but the
No,
price
they are,
which
no, 1 minute. Go back. You've written something wrong. Dict one dot values and then open close bracket. आपने क्या किया? Dict one dot open close bracket में value डाला है.
okay,
Syntax error है.
okay, okay.
He's telling you ना syntax error. There has to be a structure in which you're writing that, right?
Yes, sir.
So here, right? If I type dict one dot get and I type apple, I will get the key for apple. So this is the price head. I'll get the price for apple. If I type pear, I get the value for pear. So I am extracting the data using the keys.
So can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So see if in this like yours, the papaya should come before pear, but it didn't come.
I don't know. I will have to check that. Can you send me this? Can you uh, put this in the chat? Let me try. Yeah, mine got sorted. Before that, orange should come. Weird. Can you try that in a new notebook?
Okay, I'll try. That's still not happening.
Okay. I will check that. I will check that why that's not happening, but I'll let you know after the session, right? I'll check that and let you know.
Sure.